Okay, so some announcements to open with. Posted a flyer earlier today about a online seminar I'm doing with our chapter in the Philippines, Carlos Romanos, Escrima, Lee Morrison, and myself. We're going to be doing a digital seminar. It's going to be done over the course of 3 weeks. Each of us is going to do a segment at 3 different times to make sure that people in different time zones have access to it. I'm just a hired gun for this one. I'm not orchestrating it, so questions or inquiries or to sign up, there's a flyer that I posted earlier today. You can see the information on there. Contact them and they can give you all the information on that. So today we're going to look at things from a slightly different perspective. I'm going to get into that in a second. Right now I just want to get through a basic warm-up because you know I'm all about hammering the basics. So we're going to hit the basics real quick and then we're going to go into something a little bit different today. So starting out, as always, with the eye spike. Chamber to your right ear. Shoot straight down into the eye here. Follow up with the palm to the face. 1, 2. And then we're going to go into the shoulder. So we're going to do 5, go into the face, and 5, checking the opponent's right shoulder, presuming he's right-handed, preempting any counter he might be mounting. So you guys have been doing this. We've been at this for weeks now, so we're just going to jump into it, do it full speed. Ready? Going to the eye, then the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now going to the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Face edge. Ripping down the face, hooking the blade to the outside, going to the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 going to the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Eye pluck. Pulling the elbow back to the ribs, keeping the point of the knife oriented towards the opponent throughout the motion here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Okay, horizontal flick. Oh, sorry, let's get 5 in with shoulder check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Okay, now horizontal flick. Palm faces the opponent, swiping across the opponent's eye, ends with the palm facing me. 5 going to the forehead, 5 going to the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Parting gift. Ripping back, across the eye here, bringing the elbow to the ribs here, following up, going to the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 going to the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, throat pluck. We're going to get 10, hitting the throat pluck, following up, going to the head with palm. Ready? 1. Same motion as the eye pluck here. 2, 3. Bringing the elbow back to the ribs, keeping the point of the knife oriented towards the opponent throughout the motion. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Throat rip coming back here, attacking the right artery, same as the parting gift. Following up with the palm to the forehead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. brachial artery stab. Gonna hit the brachial artery. This time we're gonna check to the opponent's right shoulder. Keep the blade vertical, come across the artery, sever completely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just a little bit, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, give me a little bit of a flank here, moving offline. Turn the blade horizontal, go between the ribs and into the lung here. Sidestepping, run the blade parallel to the ground, puncture the lung. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now some basic combinations. First one, eye spike, palm, throat pluck. 1, 2, 3. Do 10 medium, and we'll do 10 fast. 1, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now full speed. If you're newer, you're not comfortable doing it full speed, just get 5 in, hit every other one. So do 1, 3, 5. If you're comfortable with this, do all 10 with me full speed. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So now we're going to take that brachial artery stab, check the shoulder to impede any counter, finish with the eye spike. So this will hopefully keep him relatively square to me to help me aim this shot. So I'm checking here, which will knock his left shoulder back, checking the right shoulder to impede any counter, keep him facing me flush, hit the eye. Let's do 10 medium speed. Ready? 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. Did that one backwards. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So now 10 full speed. Again, if you're not comfortable with it, keep doing it medium speed. Just do every other one with us. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So now, what I want to start covering today is entering in with a lower level of force. I want to preface this by saying I'm not a lawyer. You're responsible for your own legal education. This isn't legal advice. I'm just giving you some context for what we're doing. Now, I will say that if you're in any kind of violent altercation, you produce a weapon, especially a knife, and put it into play, even using a lower level of force, This is still a lethal force weapon that you're inflicting damage on with someone else. So you better damn well be justified in using lethal force, even if that's not your intention. You don't want to be in the ridiculous position of having to explain to the police, the DA, to a jury that, oh yeah, I produced my weapon. I went to work with this guy on my weapon, but I was being very careful not to be lethal with it. That's going to sound ridiculous to the average person who's on a jury. All they're going to see is that you hacked someone up, he's bloody and a mess, and if you weren't 100% justified in using lethal force, you're going to have a hard time selling that to someone. So then, why, if you're in a situation where lethal force is justified, would you choose not to use lethal force? The person who mentored me as a teacher, my old training partner, Paul, one thing that his instructor taught him and that he would teach his students that always stuck with me was he would say, I've given you the ability to take a human life, but if you ever do it, you're going to spend the rest of your life wondering, did I have to do it? Now, for those of us in the combatives fraternity, there tends to be a cheapening of human life in that, well, I'm in this situation, it's me or him, I'm going to put him down. And in most circumstances, that's the exact right mentality you're going to need to prevail. But if I'm in a situation where I just don't feel that I have to use lethal force and I don't want to live with that, it does help to have a repertoire of less lethal tactics that you can use as an option. Keeping in mind that if you employ these tactics, you're putting yourself at a tactical disadvantage. So this is a big gamble that you're going to be taking. But if you're not morally comfortable taking a human life in that instance, we're going to explore how to enter in with a lower amount of force, and then we're going to explore if that doesn't work and the situation escalates and we have to go from using a lower level of force to going to a lethal amount of force. Again, it's important to remember as you're practicing this that you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. I'm giving up my chance to end this quickly, to catch him off guard, to take him out, put him down. But morally, I don't feel justified in doing that. If there's any hesitation in me where I think I'm not going to act in that moment and I'm going to let him take the initiative, it's better to act with a moderate amount of force and neutralize him rather than saying, oh, I don't know if I can do this, and while I'm hesitating to use that lethal amount of force, he attacks me. Now, if this is a major threat, and I want to be very clear about this, if my life's in danger, and I know if I don't take him out, my life's going to end, or someone I care about is going to be victimized in a horrible way. In that instance, I would rather use lethal force, me personally, and this isn't legal advice, I would rather use lethal force, put this bastard down as quick as I can and end it, and just live with the psychological ramifications afterwards. I have a cop who's a friend of mine who is also a defensive tactics instructor and a student. And one of the things he says they teach in law enforcement is there's 3 fights. There's the fight against yourself. Am I mentally capable of doing this amount of damage, of fighting for my life? Can I bring myself to seriously hurt or kill another person? Which is a legitimate question you should be meditating on or reflecting on regularly. The second fight is the fight against the opponent. Do I have the skills, the physical ability to neutralize this threat and to put him down? The third fight is the fight against the system. Can I justify what I did to handle this aggressor? Can I prove to the legal system that what I did was justified and warranted? I would argue there's a fourth fight. The fourth fight is, can I live with what I did? I might be legally justified in doing it, but if I ended this person's life, even if I was justified, and I'm certain I could have done it without ending his life, I don't want to be haunted by that for the rest of my life. So that's just to contextualize what we're going to be studying here at this moment. It's not for everyone. I'm nobody's spiritual mentor. I'm nobody's ethics coach. So if this isn't a philosophy that you agree with, just stick with this. Just think about it as increasing your knowledge. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a minimal amount of force. to neutralize this threat. So we're going to assume in this situation I have the blade concealed. The situation is escalating. Maybe he goes to produce a weapon, and I'm trying to hit him and put him down so I can escape, or to neutralize him, or just to make him think twice about fucking with me. So in this instance, we're going to flash the blade. This is a tactic that's utilized in prisons all over the world. First place I ever read about it was in a book by Dan Pentecost called Folsom Knife Fighting. And it was just about tactics that prisoners in Folsom Prison used to shank each other. And it's all variations of this principle. And the principle is that you flash the blade. When his eyes go to the blade, that's when you're going to attack. And in his book, there was a lot of striking or snatching the leg, flashing the blade, snatching the leg, go underneath, flash the blade, hit him, shank him. I don't like using a closed fist in the context of blade work, because if I'm in a situation where I have to pass the knife to my left hand, I don't want to have had broken my hand on this guy's face or skull. So what we're going to use here is a slap. So we're going to move here, we're going to flash the blade and slap the side of the head. And to make sure you're getting the follow through with this slap, bring your hand through and touch your right shoulder, so you're not in a position where you're just slapping and holding this hand out here and then trying to press your attack there. I want to make sure that I slap and follow through and hit this. Now, I'm going to be hitting this with a moderate amount of force, because if I hit it full force, this thing's going to fly into the camera. So use as much force as you're comfortable using with this. Take the first few, slow, light, gradually build up force. So the concept behind this is I'm flashing the blade down here. I want to get his eyes looking low and to my right. Then I want to attack him high with my left side. So I get his eyes looking down here. I attack him up here. 1, 2. So 1, 2. And keep in mind as you're doing this, the way when adrenaline floods our system and we're in a life and death scenario, your peripheral vision dims, you start seeing stars on the outside of it, your heart's racing, you hear your heart beating in your ears. It's a very altered state that you're in. You're going to be tunnel vision. So if we're in a situation where lethal force is about to be used, unless he's just a complete psychopath, he's going to be in that state as well. His peripheral vision is going to be dimmed, his heart's going to be racing. He's going to have tunnel vision. So that's going to help me in this instance. As I flash the blade, he's going to have to move his head to track it while he's in this tunnel vision state. And when I see his eyes and head move to the blade, that's when I'm going to slap here. So flash, slap. 1, 2. So let's just do 10 medium speed. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And make sure as you're doing this, you're not doing it simultaneously. I'm not flashing and slapping at the same time, because now his attention is going to be divided by my right and left hands. I need to get him focused on my right first, and then slap. Okay, let's pick it up at 5. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay. So now 10, full speed. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. So that, in the grand scheme of things, is a very low level of force. Hitting him with an open hand strike to his ear, the side of his face, the side of his neck. There's always going to be a chance of something becoming lethal. I might knock him out with this slap, or I might just stagger him so he falls hard, hits his head on the ground. Now I'm in a situation where, even though I used a minimal amount of force, it's had a serious or lethal result. But, grand scheme of things, A slap is a very low level of force to use. Now we're going to start upping the level of force just a bit, well, considerably. So now, in side grip, we're going to use the puño, the butt end of the knife, and we're going to strike here. So we're doing impact damage with this. We're not puncturing, we're not slicing, but we are using a hard implement against the opponent's skull, which could be lethal. If I just catch him right, hit him very hard, this could have lethal results. Or if he has underlying medical conditions, even if it is a situation where I didn't hit him hard enough to otherwise end his life, if there's some kind of underlying medical condition, in this situation I could inadvertently have ended his life. And again, in that situation, I want to be damn sure that even though I wasn't intending to use lethal force, that lethal force was warranted. The other thing that could happen is I hit him, he goes unconscious, hits his head on the ground, and it's the second impact of his head hitting the ground that ends up being lethal or serious. But the chances of this being less lethal are much easier than leading with the point of the knife, obviously. So we're just going to hook this to the outside using the butt end of the knife. To go into the jaw here would likely be less lethal. Go into the temple, in most circumstances, would be a more lethal shot. When you're throwing this, pivot here. Just like throwing a hook, striking here. So, in setting this up, if the opponent's advancing on me, if he's moving on a straight line here, it's hard for me to hit with a shot that's coming around this way, because now he's moving on one plane and my weapon's moving on the other, and this intersection has to happen perfectly. So if he's bearing down on me, I want to stop that forward momentum first, get him stationary for a beat, get my range in a tactile sense by having my hand on his head for this beat, and then following through here. So we're going to go 1, 2. Let's do 10 medium. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's get 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's do 5 full speed. Ready? 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay, now, in a hammer grip, I've seen strikes with a puño and a hammer grip done like this. Personally, I do not like this particular expression of a puño attack with a blade at all. The reason being that if I'm going for this strike and his arms come out and intercept my hand, if he grabs hold of it, he just rushes me in a way that I'm not expecting, and I'm moving in with this motion, the knife can get driven back into myself. So what I prefer to do is make sure that at no point is the point of the knife oriented towards me or near me. So in this instance, we're going to come across at the same angle we were just doing here. 1, 2. 1, 2. So think of this just like a hammer fist. 1, firing through with a hammer fist shot. We're just using the back of the knife. 1. Okay. Let's do 10 slow. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now the same thing applies, even though I'm not intending to use lethal force here, because I am using a hard striking surface against the opponent's skull. There's always the risk this could end up being lethal force, even if that wasn't my intention. So once again, be sure that if you're using this tactic, even with non-lethal intent, that you would otherwise be justified in using lethal force. Okay? So now let's get 5 in, full speed. Palm, strike across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Now, while we're in hammer grip, we're going to move up the scale a little bit. Start using the edge, but in a less lethal manner. And less lethal is the important distinction here, because anytime you're putting the edge or point of the knife into an opponent, there's always a chance you could hit something vital and they could die. In this instance, for example, we're going to use our horizontal slash coming across the forehead to get blood running into the eyes. Follow that up with the palm to really open that wound up. Shake him a little bit, rattle him, perhaps create a knockout or disorient him. Also get the blood flowing. If I want to go a little bit higher level of force, I could bring this across the eyes, potentially blinding him for life, or at least putting him in a situation where he has life-altering injuries to his eyes. The risk of this could be that if I'm in this heightened adrenalized state, my aim is radically off. I could be intending to hit his forehead, taking his throat by mistake. In which case, in my mind, I know that I was going for his forehead, but what the investigators will see is that I slashed his throat open. So again, it's important, even though I'm using less lethal force or intending to, this could inadvertently become lethal force very quickly. Another way this could happen is that my targeting is correct, but I'm starting down here, and he just rushes me faster than I'm expecting and runs into my knife. Or I could be going for this, and he flinches, his hands inadvertently guide my blade down into his neck. So this could inadvertently turn lethal very easily, but we're intending to just hit the forehead here, open this up, get the blood running into the eyes, and hopefully neutralize the situation there. So we're going to go 1, 2, 10 medium speed. 1, 2. And with this one, you want to make sure that the palm is going right into where you cut, to really get open up that wound and get the blood flowing quickly. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now 10, full speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now, same principle, but this time we're slicing down the face. In this instance, we are attacking the eye, so we're intentionally trying to slash through the eye, so he is likely going to have life-altering injuries, be blind on this side. So we're going to bring this down and follow up with the palm here. Cutting straight down, palm here. 1, 2. Now, how this could inadvertently become lethal, if I'm lashing out and he dips to the side here, just on instinct, and exposes this artery, I miss his head and come straight down and hit the artery. Now my less lethal intention didn't inadvertently become lethal. So that's the risk you run with this particular technique. So, 1, 2, 10 medium speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now 5, full speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, going back to the side grip, point down, edge in. So in this instance, we're going to use the face edge we warmed up with. Draining the tip of the blade down the face and hooking it to the outside. In this one, there's a good chance we're going to score the eye, create life-altering injuries to the eye. The risk of this, obviously, is now the point of the blade is oriented towards the opponent. So there's always the risk that as I'm moving through this motion and he closes in, he can impale himself on the tip of my blade, or if my accuracy is just off, or he moves in a way I don't expect, or attempts to intercept my strike, this raking motion that's coming down from his forehead down through his eye and cheek could get brought down into his neck. Now, once again, my less lethal intention has become inadvertently lethal. So, we're going to come down here. 1, follow up with the palm. So this is the same. It's the vertical slash we just did in hammer grip, only now we're point down and striking here. 1, 2, 10 medium. 1, 2, 3. Make sure to throw this palm into the wound. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5, full speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Horizontal flick. This abanico style motion here. Go here. 1, palm to create distance. So we're going to go hitting the eye, raking across, following up with the palm. So 1, 2. Same technique we warmed up with. So we already warmed up with this one. We're just going to burn 10 fast. Horizontal flick, palm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So now we're going to look at the concept of escalation of force. So we're going to assume that we gambled. We thought that doing a minimal amount of damage or a lower amount of damage would neutralize the threat, dissuade him, or give me enough opportunity to escape the situation. And that didn't pan out the way I wanted. I attempted to take his eye, hit him here, but maybe I missed his eye with this shot. This didn't hit flush. Now we're back in a fight. And things have escalated to the point where I need to transition from using this lower level of force to ending things as quickly as possible. So what we're going to work here is 1, 2. We're going to give it a beat, and this beat is going to symbolize or represent him getting knocked back and then coming back at us. But because this is a stationary target, it's not going to move away from me and move back. We're going to have to visualize that element and have this beat here where I'm going to re-engage and hit. So we're going to use that same opening. Horizontal flick, palm. And you could use any of the tactics we've discussed from here. I'm just using this one because this is the most recent one we've done. But you could open using the palms, moving in here, giving it that beat, then re-engaging. Whichever one you want to use on your own time, you can go through all these, practice different scenarios, and stacking different techniques on top of each other. If you want to do that now, feel free. Otherwise, just follow along with what I'm doing. So we're going to leave this for a beat, and and then re-engage here. Okay, so we're going to hit this with a 1, 2, have a beat, and then throat pluck, check the shoulder, brachial artery. So we're going to go 1, 2, beat, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, beat, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So let's go through this slow. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Horizontal flick, palm, beat, throat pluck, shoulder check, brachial artery stab. So again, to visualize, I hit him with this. He staggers back. Didn't work. He's still in the fight. He's coming at me pissed off, angry, intent on ending my life. So now I'm in a situation where I have to go lethal with this. Throat pluck, check the shoulder to impede any counter, then hit the artery here. Okay. So 1, 2, beat, 1, 2, 3. Let's do 10, medium. 1, beat. Make sure you're throwing that little half beat in there to symbolize him moving back, me reevaluating the situation, and having to re-engage. 2. Sorry, let me slow it down. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. So now we're going to get 10 in full speed. Again, if you're not comfortable doing this full speed, keep doing it medium speed and just do every other one with us. Okay? Important, even though we're doing this full speed, still keep this beat. Symbolize him moving away and the re-engagement. So, 1. Here. Alright? So we're going to do 10 of those. And it's important as you're doing this, don't just hit an inanimate object. Be visualizing what's happening. Visualize hitting the eye, palming back, him staggering back, coming back with lethal force, and then you having to re-engage. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so now, if we were doing this with a partner in a live training scenario, he was kitted up, had protection on, how we could practice this is him actually simulating a real reaction. So I would hit, he might just drop down, in which case, scenario is over, I would stop. He could give me random feedback though, where I would hit him, and then he would stagger back and then attempt to re-engage. I would have to make that call on the fly and escalate my level of force. How we're going to train that solo is I'm going to give you a verbal cue. So I'm going to say 1, and then when I want you to re-engage, say re-engage. That's where you're going to press the attack. If I don't give you the verbal cue, that means the situation is over. You've neutralized the threat. So sometimes we'll escalate, sometimes it'll end on that first pass. So we'll do one slow. 1, re-engage. Right? Or 1. So now, challenge ourselves. We're going to jump right into this full speed. 1. All right, now hopefully everyone stopped there. If you didn't, start exercising a little more patience. 1. 1. Re-engage. 1. Re-engage. 1, 1, 1, 1. Re-engage. 1. Re-engage. 1, 1, 1. Re-engage. 1. Re-engage. 1. Re-engage. 1. Re-engage. 1. 1. 1. Re-engage. All right. So let's call it there for today. Oh, sorry. One more thing I wanted to go into before we call it. Using a pocket knife, less than lethal fashion. Or less lethal, not less than lethal. If, for this segment, you don't have anything that you can use as a palm stick, just envision having the weapon in your hand and use a hammer fist. So, using Foley knife, we're going to come in, striking with palm. So this strike is going to the bone area around the eye, trying to snap this bone, hitting him back here, following through, shot to the temple or the head here. So 1, 2, 3. So let's get 10 of these in medium speed. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I realize most of you don't have a training folding knife with you, so I'm just going to walk through this just for your knowledge on it. We won't get any reps of this in, just explaining the principle. If I happen to be holding this in what would deploy into a hammer grip here, the situation escalates. Use the thumb stud to open this up. Transition to the blade. So in that instance, 1, 2, 3. Thought he was going down, he didn't. 1. Moving in with the knife. If I'm in a palm down grip with the Emerson wave feature, 1, 2, 3. Thought he was going down, he didn't. Using the shirt to pop this open. Attacking here. Again, in that instance, 1, 2, 3. Use the shirt to open up. Attacking in here. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving. All right. So that's call it there for this week. As always, hope everyone's staying physically and mentally healthy, working out, progressing. We're still on lockdown, so until that's not the case, let's plan on being here next week, same time. Stay safe, everyone.